Hello mentors, welcome back to this week. We'll be looking at lesson 6, race car. First thing I'm going to do is cover all of the materials you should have gotten. So the first thing you'll need is the zip ties. Then you'll have these straws, which are actually of different lengths, and for your axles, which are wooden dowels, cut also to different lengths. You'll have motors with a gear on them. You also have motor stands. They're popsicle sticks glued together. You'll have your body of your cars or your chassis. Uh, you'll have these batteries. You'll have battery holders. You'll also have tires, two different sizes. I'll go over those in a little bit. We also have tape. You'll have electric tape, and you'll have regular masking tape. You also may need scissors and some rubber bands. So, well, next thing we'll look at is the worksheets. You'll have your think, pair, share. You'll have circuits and efficiency worksheets. There will be a blue and yellow group graphing worksheets. And last, you'll have your track your car worksheet.
There's also a reference guide called Race Car Assembly Student Guide, which you can give to students in Step 5, which will help them when they're building their car.
So, this lesson can be broken up into 7 steps. The first step is to do your introduction and cultural background part. This is where you'll have them take a blank sheet of paper and create a paper airplane. Then you'll explain to them this kind of the, symmetry of this, which is you're trying to show that there was a problem which you asked them to make a paper airplane, and then they solved it. And all their paper airplanes will most likely look different. And so you can explain all that. It's also in the write-up. Then you'll have them do the think, pair, share about what they think an engineer is and what they do. You can connect this to the Hawaiian culture by explaining that Hawaiians were very good engineers. They created all kinds of things from farming systems to tools to weapons. After that, you go into step 2, which is to give the pre-test or pre-assessment. Then step 3, you'll break them up into blue and yellow group. Step 4 is to go over the worksheet of circuits and efficiency. They'll need to learn some basic circuitries to hook up their car and make it run. After you go through that worksheet, you'll have them go into step 5, which is to build the car. So to build the car, you'll need each group will need just some simple set of materials. So they'll take their wire ties and whatnot. Start off with the body of the car. This will actually be your back end with your motor, or at least that's what I'll refer to as the back end for now. You'll take these bigger gears and they'll serve as your tires, so you put them on like so. And then you have your front, which goes on like this. Notice that this one is a single piece, and it's the longest single piece, right? It will look like this. You'll have 2 smaller ones. So there's a one smaller one, and then a little bit longer one. And those will go to the back. Then what you're going to do is you're going to... Oops, excuse me. Forgot to put the coverings on. And what these straws are going to do is when you put this, strap this to your body of your car, it will allow the dowels inside to still spin while being held onto the car. So from here, you'll zip tie these on. You'll just stick them through one side of the hole, loop it back around, and you go zip tie it here. Like so. You want to make it snug, but not too tight. You can feel free to cut off the excess to make it look nicer. Won't cut it too short just yet, so that I can adjust the tightness of the zip ties. Oops. So if you look on the back side, the zip tie should be snug but not super tight, so the thing can still spin. Yep. Once you do that, you'll have to put in your motor. So you put your stand first, and you'll notice that there's a single hole here. You'll line up your motor to your gear, kind of figure out a place for that, and then what you'll do is you'll take 2 zip ties, and you need to put them together so that it'll be long enough to tighten on your motor. Like so. Should be easier with 2 people helping. But you'll notice here that the gears line up, the teeth should match so that when the motor starts spinning, your car will go. So before putting on your front, I want to explain that your covering for your axles may not be the right length. So you may need to use your scissors to cut the covering. So if we see here, the covering is too long. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna feel for where the wooden doll is, cut off a little bit, and check it, and that's pretty good. Now, it does fit and the tire goes on, but if you'll notice that there's no spacing between the tire and the covering, and it'll actually make it harder for the tire to spin. So what we're gonna do is cut it a little bit shorter so that we can see the wooden dolls a little. And this is better because then I can hold the covering and the tire spins freely. Once you have done that, you're going to do the same thing and zip tie it onto your race car. So attaching the front, we're going to just do the same thing. Put the wire tie, the zip ties rather. And tighten them. Tighten it enough so that they don't move around, but the tires can still spin freely. Again, you can cut off the excess. Makes it look a little bit nicer. Next thing we're going to have to do is attach your battery holder. So now the battery holder here, you'll have to connect your wire leads to your motor. So wire leads here. Now, if the wire doesn't have enough of the wire exposed because of the insulation part, you can strip it by just slightly kind of cutting into the insulation but not cutting through it, and then if you pull, the insulation is pretty soft and you can see that it's starting to come off already, and it should eventually just come off like so. Like that. Then you'll have a longer lead. This might make it easier tying to your motor. So here, you'll connect these into the motor, just kind of twisting it on like so. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Now this is where your electric tape may come in handy. If you're having a hard time, you can always secure it with your electric tape. You can also, and then once you put the batteries in, it should spin. Yeah. But we'll take these off for now. So you see that the motor works. If your car is going in the wrong direction, it's because you have your wire leads backwards. So if it's going backwards, it's because you need to switch the 2 wire leads, and then it should go in the right direction. Then you can secure down your battery holder, and that's it. You have your working car. So with your working car, you'll need to go over the mathematics that they'll need to track their car. So now that you've built your car, step 6, you're going to go over the math concepts that they'll need when they're racing their cars. So each group, blue group and yellow group, will have their own worksheet here. You'll go through the 2 examples. There's example 1, example 2 for blue group, as well as for yellow group. There's this example that you can show them about piecewise functions. And then you'll have them go through the rest of the problems on their own. facilitated as needed. Then step 7 is where they actually get to test out their cars. Here you would have to have done your prior prep, which is to make your racetrack. The racetracks for Blue Group should be 30 feet long with masking tape made at every 5 feet. They'll also need to have some kind of device or way of tracking the time for each one. So on this worksheet is where they'll be using to take down their data for how far the car traveled and how long it took to travel that far. And then you'll help them do the rest of the worksheet, calculating their different speeds. And that's it. So after that, you'll do your wrap up. You'll have your post assessment. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much all. So good luck, have fun. See you next time.